Hey everybody, this is Nitin Choda here at a shopping center in Avon, Connecticut, and I'm very impressed by what is a phenomenal example of community ignition. Now I'm going to analyze this ad here. This is actually a local fitness trainer. Her name is Michelle Welcome Pellegaro, and what she's done here is she struck up essentially a deal here with the local ShopRite, where different types of foods are what they call Michelle approved. Now there are a lot of things that are interesting here. The biggest thing that I find interesting here, Michelle has implemented Michelle approved menus at local restaurants to make it easier for people to make healthy menu choices. Now if you think about this as it pertains to your clinic, there are a lot of things that you can do. And by the way, what's happening here is you can see that Michelle's fitness, she's the owner of a gym called Snap Fitness. What happens here is that Michelle's ideology here is to get into a partnership, and she's already done that with the local ShopRite. Because keep in mind, I'm at a local ShopRite here, and what Michelle has done here is simply make herself the expert and make foods on shelves as Michelle approved. I mean, if you look at this right here, this says Michelle approved, and I'm looking here at what they call as a superfood. So what you're looking here is you're looking at Michelle now becoming a local celebrity, because official seal of approval, Michelle approved. Now this is pretty incredible, because you're looking at an example of community ignition. You're looking at something that makes Michelle a local expert. Now whoever looks at this obviously wants to go train at Snap Fitness, and here's a promo, and this is the call to action. Bring this list to Snap for a free 30-day trial and get a free personal training session. And of course then you have Snap Fitness, and there's a Michelle approved logo. Now think about it. What would this mean to your clinic if you had let's say your name is Ryan. Let's say, what if you had a Ryan approved diet or a Ryan approved fitness program? Keep in mind, Michelle, as far as I know, doesn't have any nutritional qualifications, and I'm not trying to discredit her. I think she's amazing with what she's doing, but think about what this means for your marketing. Think about what this means in terms of having recognition, having an expert status for yourself in your community. I'm going to do a closer dissection of what Michelle's done here at the local ShopRite, and hopefully you can pick up some lessons for your own clinic and how you can get into a local partnership with local businesses in your clinic. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you get some ideas from the Michelle approved concept. So let's take a look at the Michelle strategy from a higher level. I'm on the website of ShopRite, which is a grocery chain that's based in the Northeast, in the New York, New Jersey, tri-state area. Now, if you look at the ShopRite website, which is shoprite.com, you'll see they have a section on their website called Live Right. So the Live Right campaign is a campaign that this grocery chain has created with local dietitians in the area. So what's happening here is ShopRite has actually tied up with local dietitians to promote healthy living events. Now, you need to ask yourself as a rehab professional, why not speak with the person in charge at ShopRite in your community, in your area, or a similar grocery chain? It doesn't have to be ShopRite, because I know you could be watching this from anywhere in the country, or for that matter, anywhere in the world. Why not speak with a local grocery chain and ask them if it's possible for you to conduct events, or even, what they call here as health events. If you take a look at some of the health events, they have their calendar here. They have an Ask a Dietitian section. And most grocery chains would be open to having some sort of a health event on health and wellness or injury prevention, because as you know, diet is one component of health. Injury prevention, knowing the right way to stretch, the right way to exercise, do's and don'ts about what to do in the event of an acute injury, when you should speak with your doctor, when is a good time for physical therapy. All of these are things that you can easily conduct, or workshops you can conduct at health fairs, just like dietitians are doing, just like the Live Right campaign that's going on with the ShopRite here in the tri-state area. So now let's come back to Michelle's ad and take a closer look at the components of her ad. This is basically a billboard in that local ShopRite. Let's take a closer look at the components and analyze what she's done right now. As you can see here, let's start with the top right-hand side of the ad. The very fact that you have what's called as a Michelle approved sign, and obviously you can see the sign on on different food items here. The very fact that there's a Michelle approved sign makes her an instant celebrity. Now imagine if Michelle was walking through the aisles here at ShopRite. People would immediately recognize her. People would immediately probably even want to take a picture with her. This sets up instant credibility for you as a provider, as a professional, having some sort of a Michelle approved or some sort of a Your Name approved sign. That's one. Now, if you were to analyze what's happening below her picture here, you'll see that obviously it has her name, her designation, who she is, the address of the club. These are the credentials that establish more credibility for her. This is contact information and social media information in terms of the Facebook fan page. So again, you're looking at, if you were to analyze this further, what you're looking at is, to start with, a compelling picture of this professional. Then what you have is the name, the designation, all what I call the credibility boosters in here. And then, of course, you have, ways to contact this particular professional. All of these are important components of an ad. Now, let's take a closer look at what's going on the right-hand side. What we have here is an introduction to the services, so that the consumer now understands, what is this all about? I mean, why, how is this going to help me? In the second paragraph, you're taking a closer look at the importance of the Michelle approved logo. So again, what you do is you go from the introduction on the left side of this ad to essentially what's in it for me as far as the consumer is concerned. Because for the consumer, the question in their mind is, what's this going to do for me? So when you take a look at this line, Michelle, you see, important keywords like healthy meal choices. Michelle is now taking her health mission a step further and, essentially offering the Michelle approved grocery list. So again, what this is doing here is, this is not only establishing credibility for Michelle and more importantly, helping the consumer, but just having something like this in a ShopRite, it's almost like a human. Think of every single consumer in ShopRite, and we're talking hundreds, potentially thousands of people a day on the weekends. Are looking at this and are thinking of her as the expert, which I'm sure she is. Now, and this is, where it basically all comes together. This is where the consumer now gets to learn about what it is that Michelle's business does. And what I really like here is, obviously, all of these bullet points are essentially, the highlights, the unique selling points of the business, which is great. But this right here, probably the only change I would make to this ad is making this a little bolder. But other than that, the principle in and of itself is interesting, because now what you're doing is you're looking at this in a local ShopRite, and you're looking at consumers seeing this. Like I said, hundreds, maybe thousands of people seeing this. All of it tied back to the Live Right campaign that ShopRite is running, and I'm pretty certain that your local grocery store would be doing something like this. And guess what? If they aren't, you can be the driving force behind something like this. You could probably even get a personal trainer, fitness trainer, dietitian, or nutritionist on your team and create a health awareness campaign with them, just like the local ShopRite, just like ShopRite as a chain is doing. Not just the local ShopRite, but ShopRite as a chain. The probability is pretty high that if you went to different local ShopRites in the tri-state area, you would either see a sign like this, or more than likely you would be seeing signs like this for local professionals, because it's these local professionals that consumers identify with, that that consumers consider more relevant. And again, this creates an opportunity for those local professionals to create these kinds of joint marketing opportunities, joint endorsement opportunities. Now, keep in mind, I'm not certain about whether Michelle is being compensated or whether this is what kind of a financial relationship, if any, exists between this provider and ShopRite. But the point of this training video is the importance of community marketing through local businesses. In this case, a grocery chain like ShopRite. That is what you need to do as a provider, as a professional, to be able to get the word out. This is a new and effective form of advertising that's far more important than than trying to run ads in the local newspaper, then trying to run ads, through Google, then trying to run ads, then trying to create a fancy website. This is where consumers and foot traffic, and this is where visibility for your clinic increases. So something to think about. Obviously, you having your name next to food items there's not a very high probability that'll happen, but try and widen your horizons. Try and think of new and innovative ways to essentially tie, let's say, like I said, your name is Ryan, Ryan approved, next to, some exercise bands or some sort of things that are more exercise related, maybe even the hot pack and cold pack in the local ShopRite, because they do have sections for supplies, first aid supplies, things like that. If those can be your name approved, investigate those possibilities, and if you can have a banner like this, imagine what that can do for your practice. At the very least, tie up with fitness trainers and with professionals who are marketing themselves strategically in local businesses, because you can get referrals that way as well. Thank you so much. I hope this training was beneficial, and I'll see you in the next training. Thanks.